I'm Allie Craig, and I'm traveling across the country to fix the heartbeat of the modern economy, the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are like no other business. It isn't just about selling a product or a service, it's about selling the experience, the relationship, and speaking to the social stories that hold the hearts and subconscious minds of our audiences. And it's these fledgling brands that must be designed as much for their audiences as it is for their authors if they're going to break the statistics and make bank. Having fixed countless brands over the last 20 years and worked with hundreds more entrepreneurs, founders, and startups, I know that I need to do something radical to get these brands and their founders back on track. Because in this age of social media where everyone is a critic as well as an instant expert, your business and audience can boom or backfire overnight. If I have any hope of saving these brands and transforming their businesses, I have to get these entrepreneurs to embrace the experience they are really selling and escape the mindset that all they are is just an offer. Hey everybody, this is Allie Craig. Welcome to Fix My Brand with Allie Craig. And guess what? We're talking all about your personal brand and your style today because how you look in this world and how you show up says everything about how in the world you're going to succeed. And I am joined by the amazing Stacey Lenoir today. Miss Sandy was set to join us today, but that girl's busy, so Stacey's kind enough to step on in and let's chat all about, well, personal brand.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
So if anyone doesn't realize or remember who Stacey is, Stacey actually is kind of our accidental expert on many levels because Stacey showed up in Orlando, well, just to help me out, basically. She's my personal stylist, and, well, needless to say, all the brands loved her, just like they love Sandy, and she was kind enough to step in and help with personal branding all along the photo shoot, video shoot way. So let's see really what it's all about when it comes to your personal brand and the impressions you make. No matter what type of brand you're building, no matter if you're building a brand that's for yourself or maybe by chance you're building a direct sales business model, guess what? You're in the mix, right? You're marketing yourself. Personal marketing, aka impression management, is all about how are you showing up in the world, in person, online, via a photo, via a video. Guess what? Every single time someone sees you, you're making an impression. And as you know from your own personal experience, many times you see somebody, but they don't see you. Same holds true for you, your business, and your brand. The average professional nowadays makes over 10,000 impressions a day, online as well as in person. 10,000 impressions a day. And that's if you're not that active on social media. If you're really going for it, it's going to be way more. These are brand new posts you're putting out on social media, someone finding that random page where you spoke at an event 8 years ago and the picture and bio is still up, some old version of your website, a business card you left out at a networking event. There's so many impressions that you are making. The question is, what are they all adding up to? So 10,000 impressions a day tends to floor people, but most entrepreneurs, we're making over 50,000 impressions a day.
That's a lot.
So most of us don't even realize that.
No.
Do you realize that?
No. I don't ever realize, when you get dressed and you go outside, you're running across millions of people, hundreds of people. But you don't think about that when you're on social media, when you're posting your photos. How many people are really going to see this? What is your reach? Well,
in all of those photos and all of that photography we're doing in Orlando, the videos we're doing in Orlando, the reason why it's so important, it's so much more than just pretty pictures. It's all about making sure that your personal style really actually tells a story. And you completely understand that, helping with women all these years own their personal style.
This is true. And really, that adage, how you look and how you show up, it really matters. And so how you're projecting yourself on social media, appearance-wise, is incredibly important too.
Well, and I gotta say, with this season, love Sylvia Becker-Hill. But the girl in the beginning, wow, her wardrobe was pretty unique for Sylvia.
Definitely out there.
I love seeing how she really kind of stepped up and took it to the next level. So let's see how that looks.
I think personal branding is all about, when it comes to style, it's all about wearing your story and actually showing your personality without even saying a word. Unfortunately, people size other people up, especially in business, and usually it's only takes seconds. And this is a study that's done with Psychology Today. It's in all different types of textbooks. So we want to show who we are right off the bat without sending mixed messages.
When you stop and you realize that all of these random impressions that you are putting out there, out into the world, add up to saying something about you and what you stand for and what you're about, we're missing a huge opportunity to minimize brand confusion for ourselves and for our audience, but also create stronger power in all the impressions that we're making. Our impressions that we're making will add up to how our business is perceived now, how we're perceived now, but also in the future. This is a cumulative effect. You can't take things off online. It's always there somewhere. So how clear are you about the intentions of the impressions you're making? Our intentions when it comes to getting dressed. The brands really struggled with this in the beginning. And I think most, especially nowadays, I think most people do when it comes to their style. I mean, you know it. How many people do you see wearing PJs and slippers? And that stuff is not appropriate in the airport, guys.
No, I really wish people would stop wearing slippers to the airport. Shoes. Please wear shoes.
Real clothes are great. But what's really interesting about coming into the whole Orlando photo and video shoot experience is that, you know, all the brands had the opportunity to work with Sandy prior to coming to Orlando. But for doing photo shoots and video shoots with my brands for the last 20 years, I knew these women were going to bomb when it comes to really bringing clothes and bringing accessories. And, you know, we brought 10 suitcases, and this girl lovingly helped me pack all of these suitcases of clothes that I had found along the way that I'm like, I know because I knew their sizes. And I was like, that's what they're going to need. This is the accessories they're going to need. And even in Orlando, we were shopping right before people's photo shoots because we saw what they came with. And we were like, that is so not going to work on camera.
No. And sometimes things, you know, we bring things that we have so much invested in. Like, oh, this is the, you know, necklace my grandmother gave me from 16 years. It might be sentimental, but it probably isn't appropriate for the photo shoot or maybe for that conference or, you know, showing up for that shot that you're trying to achieve. So it was great when, you know everybody's preference and their background and what would look best on them, you know, to do that shop for them and lay everything out and have a clear definition on what is your style, what is your look, and the accessory portion was my favorite.
Killer. Because the truth is, when people hear brand photography, for some reason people think kitschy.
Yes.
Like they think like, oh, I need to have my logo on my t-shirt or something. It's like, no, never. But your brand photography should be reflecting more of where you're going. Your style in general should be reflecting where your brand's going, not necessarily how you show up today.
Yes.
Especially if you're like us and you live in very relaxed environments like Arizona and whatnot. If your business isn't super chill, please don't dress that way, basically. And honestly, that actually leads us into really kind of the difference, especially like with Cassandra, who struggled with coming from a corporate background. Let's see what that was like.
Cassandra is a fun girl, and she already has a lot of style. So for her, it's about feeling confident because she wants to make other women feel confident.
There is a way to have an amazing life and an amazing career. Either way, it's all magnificently possible.
Smile. And look in that way. Yes.
Oh, that's a perfect freaking necklace for you.
She looks stunning.
Looking here. Like this. Chin down. And chin up. Yes, I like that.
Oh my God.
She's got good stuff.
Right there.
And also she has to bring out her femininity because that's what she wants to do for other women. She wants women to be strong but in a feminine way.
Let me tell you, self-help is dead. going it alone, who has time for that? The climb can be too steep to do that by yourself. Don't go that route. That's the quickest way to just be completely burnt out, completely demoralized, frustrated, working too hard, too in your masculine, losing touch with who you are as a woman.
A great pair of heels is going to do that for any woman. You know, really rock those heels, feel confident, just stand in that power pose. As you elevate, so does your brand, and it will make you feel confident.
The amazing Cassandra. How can you not love her?
She is pretty lovable. She's beautiful, she's intelligent, and just the way that she speaks with such a cadence that just captures you, captivates.
Well, and what I love about Cassandra is because when she came into this series, she still had her full-time corporate career going. Yes. And you can kind of tell that because when you look at the original photography that we shot in Orlando, that style that she had then, we were breaking her out of her shell because the girl came with suits and that yellow top that she now loves. And Stacy was like, why the hell did you buy that for her, Allie? She loves it. And then what I love is that, so we did another photo shoot with her in Vegas, and that's where Miss Stacy got her hands on Miss Cassandra and all of that statement pieces, that yellow one off the shoulder piece, and you know,
I mean, the pink coat, the electric blue jackets against the pink coat, the yellow caftan that she had on.
Oh my gosh, that caftan is stunning.
Very stunning. And she embodies this look. And it was so interesting to watch her break out of her corporate shell and try to redefine who she is in this, you know, this new brand, this new world. So she's been so exciting to work with and so much fun.
Well, and she's even evolving it once again because she really understands that, like, Orlando was it was a little over a year ago, basically. And so
it was a starting point for her.
And then Vegas was about halfway through that. And so even again, she's evolved one more time. And you can check out her Instagram feed at the Cassandra Shepard. And she's completely owning and looking at her style. So if you go back, I love looking at her original stuff when she was in corporate versus to what she's posting now and how she's dressing now. And she's even more fun. And
I love
you can
those from then to now.
Exactly, because you can really tell this is truly who she is.
But you know, with style, what's great is you're constantly evolving, right? So you're always going to be changing, you're always going to be up-leveling yourself. And so I love to see that she's finally found her look and she's really racing towards it.
Well, and I love what you said, always evolving your look. How many people do we know who have stuff in their closets that is decades old, easy?
Definitely know a couple people that
doesn't look right, doesn't fit right, and let's speak of not fitting right. Dr. Megan Todd, love that creative girl. I mean, uber color from the beginning. But she and I was flying out one day and I was like, okay, I have time, we can go shopping. And so we hit the mall before I had to hit the airport. And she was like, I'm like, what size are you? And she's like, a large. I'm like, Megan teeny. Like, it's about size and fit and kind of just rediscovering all that. Let's see the struggles Megan had when it came to her personal brand and style.
Megan comes from an academia world, which actually I did too. She's coming from that world, and then all of a sudden she's breaking out into a more cultural, fun, exciting, innovative world. In academia, it's very almost corporate. I can't even explain it another way. There's like a certain look that when you go into work that you have to dress, kind of not be corporate, not be too out there, like, because it's still a business and she wants to be approachable. So I think that she's kind of transitioning, you know, into that arena.
Women tend to, in society, pull back a little bit more, and so I think being visible is a, you know, feminist statement of presencing, and so I can embrace it on that level as well. Getting a little more comfortable with it. I wouldn't say it's comfortable, but I'm, you know, moving in that direction.
I know that you love color, obviously.
Yes.
I think it's great. I think it shows off your personality and your brand.
Sometimes it can get a little wild and wacky, but...
So creativeness and art has a lot to do with your business?
Yes.
Okay. Does this feel comfortable? Does this feel like you?
She said, you know, how is this? I was like, it's okay. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, let's move on. It looks good, but if it doesn't work for you, then that's important. Like, that's the most important.
You know, you can wear whatever you want when you've made it. I mean, that's the bottom line, that's the truth. But when you're starting a new business and you're really trying to attract people, especially in the online world, there's a lot of noise out there. And your expertise is not enough. You know, you need to really get to the bottom of what your business is, what your values are, who you are, and then align that with your clothing.
Megan and her creative style, right?
She's my favorite.
So Megan loves color.
She does.
And one thing I constantly kept telling Megan when it came to her personal style is that, you know, she's intellectually savvy as all can be. And her brand, it's all about this very structured system. I'm like, girl, we gotta get the style to have a little structure there too. And I'm like, modern art, girl, modern art. One statement and then clean.
Yeah. She's very creative though. And even when you just are talking with her, you can see she's got this big personality. And sometimes people like me, like Megan, we've got these really bold personalities and we just want to show the world, like, hey, look at me, I'm fun. But sometimes we just need to tone down our way of dress and just streamline it. And once we streamline it, you can get your personality to come across in different ways.
Well, and I love that she's up-leveling, and again, we just did a photo shoot with her from Orlando. We have a couple of pics to share with you guys about how that's looking. But you know what? She still stayed true to having those statement elements. So for Megan, it's the scarf. She loves the scarf.
And it works for her.
And she loves the arm full of bracelets. Like, that is totally her style, her jam. And the thing is, no matter what she wears, as long as she's having those elements, it'll always make sense to her. It'll always help her feel authentic, and it'll also make sense to her brand because it's consistent through.
For her, with somebody like that, you never want to take all of what makes them them and then try to stuff them into what works for...
Oh, you can't stuff Megan into a box.
No. Megan is her own brightly colored crayon, and I love it. I love that she colors outside the lines
and
all
that's
the time.
Totally okay. That's the thing. Like, you know, I always tell people I can tell exactly when you were between the ages of 16 and 21 because that's the time frame in which we're most influenced by TV and movies. And so women tend to do a couple of things, I find. Number one, their style stays when they were in high school. So you see the blue eyeshadow from like the 80s and the early 90s, the grunge and all that kind of stuff. Or you see they start dressing like Jill Taylor from Home Improvement. Because that was the number one show. And so you see these weird mom jeans and stuff come back and you're like, that doesn't have to be who you are, no matter if that's your age right now. Like, be creative. And I love that Megan is totally willing to be super creative and just go for it. Because sometimes it's what you just have to do for your style as well as for your brand.
I would agree.
So Talmar.
Love Talmar.
So when she was in Orlando, okay, we struggled with some of the style a little bit because Talmar sees herself a certain way, and then when she sees herself on camera, you know, we all have that moment.
We all have, and I can't tell you how many times in the fitting room I have these moments with women where they break down because they are now seeing themselves, and for whatever reason, the way that they think others are viewing them is what hurts the most and speaks to some type of pain. But Talmar is a beautiful woman, and she comes across on camera very dynamic and very powerful. And what a vivacious woman.
Well, let's see how Talmar's personal brand through her style shows that dynamic nature.
Yes, exactly. 1, 2. Stay right there. I'm gonna zoom in a little. 1, 2. Those eyes.
And when we have our own businesses, we really could take it another step, and we can really infuse our personality in it. So this is totally Talmar with her loving pink and her graphics, and adding the jeans to a very kind of what could be corporate look. This is all about infusing her personality and wearing her story.
Oh, love it there, there. I want you to straight on at me, straight on there. 1, beautiful. Yes. Yes, there, roll back. I love you. There, yes, there.
Talmar! Like, you gotta own it. Now, here's the thing. Everyone has hang-ups about their body. We all do. So I'm going to tell you guys the same secret I told Talmar, because Talmar and I, we did her hair because she was like, can I do red in my hair? And I'm like, of course you can. Let's go do that shit. You know, and we were having a conversation about body images, and she's like, you know what? She's like, I just hold weight in my stomach. What girl doesn't? I mean, most of us all do. And I was like, girl, let me just tell you my secret I've been doing since I was 21. Maternity. I know it sounds horrible. Stacey doesn't necessarily agree with me all the time on that one, but maternity pants will fit you everywhere and make your tummy look so much slimmer. So her flight was actually canceled out, so she actually went to a maternity store to try this out. And she's like, I look 20 pounds lighter. Yes, you do. So don't get hung up about the size or what department you're shopping in, or
it's
what.
Not about the size, it's about the fit of the clothes on your body. We all want to feel our most beautiful, right? So let's stop looking at what the numbers are saying. Let's stop looking at what the scale says. Let's look at how we fit and how we show up to these things, because really a good personality can turn it around. Having a good feeling or putting on a pair of jeans that, ooh girl, I am feeling myself, like nice and slim and tight. It doesn't matter if it's a maternity jean or if it's a jean that you're holding in there with the safety pin. Yeah. As long as you look good and you feel good, that's what counts.
And I think that's what makes her brand even stand out more, because we all know it, that when we don't love our style or we don't love what's on us, that we tend to shy. We tend to get a little, our nonverbal communication, our body language kind of literally closes up, and we're not going to be as dynamic and powerful. And Talmar, anything other than dynamic and powerful, is a loss to this world and a loss to her brand.
Right.
And so, you know, the shots that she loves the most and that we tend to love the most of her, it's like you're using separates and you're using ability to kind of manipulate how you look, but also look edgy and look strong, because that girl is a total New Yorker on so many levels that she has to look powerful and strong and fierce in everything that she does. And so that's the whole point of personal branding and personal style. Do your clothes matter? Completely. Because someone's going to see you across the room. Someone's going to see a photo of you from 5 years ago. So only put items out, only dress, only take photography and put photos up on your Instagram feed that you actually like. Okay, look good but look like you.
Yes.
So a couple of people have asked us some of the questions. So let's talk about some of the Q&A. So one of them has to do with really knowing how to accessorize, because I think some people find accessories a little overwhelming.
It could be daunting.
And especially for what's right for your personality. Do you have any tips when it comes to using accessories to really kind of complete an outfit, but also really express someone's personality through them?
You know, I like to think jewelry. Jewelry is so fun to express yourself. If you're wearing, you know, obviously we're not going to go through all the tips and tricks in regards to the jewelry, but when you are wearing something and your neck is exposed, of course a little necklace would be great. What fun way to brighten up or stand out than a statement necklace, kind of like something I have on right now. I'm very minimalistic with my jewelry. I have a little simple stud and just a simple bracelet, but I'm letting my neck, my necklace do all the showman, if you will. You have a great jacket on.
I'm a jacket girl all the time.
And having a jacket that's got some structure, that's got some detail, you've got a super fun lipstick to just offset that. Little things, you know, small pieces that you put onto your body can definitely change out your wardrobe. So I would say with the accessories, just one tip. If you are ready to go out the door, take one thing off. You might have put a little too much on.
Well, and jewelry is always a great one, especially if you're out networking, because jewelry is the number one thing another person, male or female, will comment on. So if you want a reason for someone to approach you so you don't have to do all the approaching, do the jewelry.
I love shaking a man's hand and seeing a nice watch or a nice bracelet on there. I'm like, ooh, he's got taste.
And it's a great conversation starter. So that way you're not always having to be like, what do you do?
Exactly.
That weird conversation. So our second question has to do all about the Orlando dress-up experience, which
so fun.
So that wasn't actually even intentional on many levels. So all the experts got to the home early, to the house early, and so we had everything set up and ready. And then Ginny P was like, "Hey, can you help accessorize?" So Stacey and I are staying up late, you know, helping Ginny P accessorize, and we had a couple of the brands there who had arrived early, and they were watching on the stairs. I remember that.
We didn't know that they were watching.
I know, we weren't. We were lost.
Really wrapped up. Jenny P and I and Allie, we had just been sitting there and just chatting it up and, you know, giggles and everything. We were just kind of laying all the products out. All the clothing being laid out, all the jewelry, the necklaces, everything. And Jenny P, we just happened to be chit-chatting. And, you know, girls, it's like being in a closet. Oh, put this on. Next thing it turned, put this on. Oh, quickly, hurry up, put this on. And next thing, earrings and makeup and shoes. And I turn around and I see we have an audience. And the brands are all sitting there and they're watching. And I mean, I think at one point I saw, it was either Gina, and she had her head in her hands like this. And she was so fascinated by the entire process. It was so much fun.
So though that wasn't necessarily planned, what's interesting is that Gina and everyone else started asking, instead of just having, like, look at your wardrobe, can we look at our wardrobe? Everyone asked for that kind of, like, playing dress up style session again. And that's the thing. I think it's innately in us as girls. Like, we still want to play dress up no matter what age we are, basically.
I definitely would agree. And it was really like a fit session. Try this. Let's see the fit on this. Let's try the cut on this. And collectively, they all said that they'd never had some type of shopping or dress fitting experience like that. And I truly believe that every woman should have a Stacy that cheers them on when they're getting dressed every day, and to really help them feel their best.
Well, and tell them the truth. That's the reason why I adore Stacy, because
I do tell the truth. It's not always, oh, you look amazing in that. Sometimes it's Allie.
Oh,
take that off, girlfriend.
And you know what was also interesting about that accidental style session was that everyone started to collectively work together. Sylvia's pulling clothes out to give to Lisa. People are taking garments off to be like, you should try this. And so it actually ended up being this really great bonding time for everybody.
It was. And it was almost as if with women, we have a tendency to be a little catty. And in Orlando, it was almost like in that moment, walls dropped. We all were in the same experience. We're all in this together. We all want to feel good together, right? So Sylvia was like, oh, I like that shirt you have on. I was wearing this leopard top. And I said, girl, you don't take it. And I threw it and gave it to her. And she wound up putting into one of her pieces with her white jacket. And she looked fabulous on it. And so maybe I have something that looks even better on you, or something that Sylvia might have had that looked great on Jenny P. It was just so awesome to see the girls passing things back and forth and it showing up in each other's shoots. So that was my favorite. I think my favorite takeaway was that experience.
Well, and that everyone was so fearlessly complimentary to everybody else. Like, it was like they knew that their photos were going to look great, their brands were going to look great, and it didn't disempower them in any way to have someone else look great alongside of them.
Right, and that is so important.
And so if we can do that in Orlando, guys, guess what? We can do that in the real world of life, the entrepreneurial world of life, that we can really actually do the whole, like, helping each other out and lifting each other up. And hey, I compliment people randomly all the time. So that happens. And it just, you never know what that means. You never know what that means to them. And you never know what kind of impression it makes on them, about you, and about your brand. Because guess what? All this is making impressions. And the whole point of the impressions we make creates the relationships we have. So if you want better brand relationships, you better be making better impressions when it comes to your personal brand. So thank you, Stacy, for joining us.
Welcome.
Next week, guess what? We have Talmar Anderson live. We are coming live from Cincinnati because next week is the beginning of Mogul Week, so you won't want to miss that. All the details are on the website, mogulweek.com. But more importantly, we got Talmar going live. So,
bourbon.
Bourbon's going to be in the house. So we'll see you then, guys. Have a great day.